you looking for free Ulduar loot from just running heroic dungeons? The Titan Rune Beta Dungeons are coming in Phase 3, and they're the ultimate catch-up mechanic. But be warned, these dungeons have new affixes to make them significantly more challenging than previous heroics. So let's cover everything new and the sweet rewards you can get. So Blizzard has decided to add a huge catch-up mechanic in Phase 3, which is called the Titan Rune Beta mode. If you go into any heroic dungeon and activate the mysterious device, the enemies in the dungeon will get a new affix modifier. Your reward for clearing a heroic with beta mode active will be Ulduar 10 normal gear, as well as a currency to buy hard mode gear from the new vendor. Plus, you'll be getting conquest emblems from every boss, as well as 5 emblems of triumph from the daily quest. We'll cover exactly what gear you can get, as well as the new currency in a minute, but first let's talk about the new affixes. Alright, so to get started, head to the dungeon of your choice with your group. Then you need to activate heroic mode and click the mysterious device inside the dungeon. This will open a new menu where you can select the Titan Rune Beta, and it will pop out a sort of chalice thing to press. All 5 players in the group need to channel this, so make sure to be as pushy and flame heavy as possible if somebody doesn't click instantly. Okay, so you press the button. What are the new affixes going to be doing? Well, there are going to be brand new affixes for every type of dungeon, and most of the affixes build off the Titan Rune Alpha mode from Phase 2. In general, enemies will go from 100% bonus health to 140%. The Arcane Rune set of dungeons, just like before, has the mirror image mechanic where mirror images spawn and cast arcane missiles. Every time you kill a mirror image, you gain a stacking 5% haste buff up to 30%, which makes this dungeon way easier. Just like before, I highly recommend making a target mirror image macro to target these illusions. In the Utgarde set of dungeons, they have the same frost rune modifier as before, which is called Glaciate. Glaciate works just like before. When you get it, move. On top of Glaciate, there's a Fire Blast debuff that goes out, which deals big damage over time. You should walk into an ice patch for a tick to mitigate it. Weak auras help a lot here, and I can definitely recommend the Thames Weak Aura pack. It should be updated soon. Moving on to Culling of Stratholme, we have the Plague Rune modifier. This causes zombie attacks to randomly affect someone with the plague. After 1 minute, they'll turn into a zombie and you'll have to kill them. Just use the holy water from the boxes by the entrance or any disease purge you have to mitigate the mechanic. There's also the new Holy Hand Grenade from the boxes, which removes the zombie effect as well. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention that they added big zombies too. For the Spider set of dungeons, testing wasn't available yet, but data mining does show that the Shadow Rune affix is the web wrap from before. Targets get web wrapped and you break them out by damaging them. For the Stormpeaks set of dungeons, things are way different now. The Titan Rune modifier gives you a stacking 1% damage increase up to 100%. Once you reach 100%, you get the Yogg 4 light buffs like increased mana regen and health. It's very important to chain pull to keep your stacks at 100, since having the Titan buff feels extremely overpowered. And of course, there are now some surprise tentacles at key locations in the dungeons. Bursting them down with your Titan buffs active is a must. And meanwhile, in the Gundrak set of dungeons, we've got the Blood Rune affix again. This rune causes the Blood of Loa mechanic, which is considered to be the hardest affix in the game. It's all about moving the mobs out of the lifesteal blood on the ground. Since everyone thought that was too hard, you can now drink the Witch Doctor's Brew located in several places in the dungeon. This drink deals 5% of your health per 5 seconds, but it makes blood pools harmless. Just have one party member drink it, since you don't want the whole group ticking down. We've also got the Gladiator rune from the new Trial of the Champion dungeon. From my testing, this dungeon spawned power-up buffs like Berserking, which increases damage, but overall the buffs didn't feel like they were helping very much, and this dungeon felt like the hardest by far. Okay, so you know the new affixes, but how hard are these dungeons really? Well, the original Titan Rune dungeons were doable at 3,500 gear score and on farm by 4,000 plus. For the new beta dungeons, I was running Ulduar gear around 4,500 gear score and I had minimal wipes in my testing. You should definitely be fine around 4,000 gear score, since these are designed to be catch-up dungeons. In fact, some of these dungeons are even easier than the Titan Rune Alpha mode. So you've been pumping these Titan Rune dungeons, here are the rewards you can expect. The items being dropped seem to replace typical heroic gear in the dungeon. Instead, every boss in my testing was dropping a piece of Nax 10 gear, as well as a piece of Ulduar 10 loot as well. The final boss also dropped additional Nax 10 gear, including a 213 piece. On top of the Ulduar 10 loot, we were also getting emblems of conquest from every boss and the daily normal quest. These are far from useless, since you can use them to purchase catch-up 232 gear or downgrade them for epic gems. The downgrade NPC just got changed to be able to easily convert your emblems to valor or heroism, so don't forget about that. And on top of the conquest emblems, you'll also get 2 emblems of triumph from the daily heroic quest. If you loot the bag from the last boss of the daily heroic, you'll also get 3 bonus emblems of triumph. I'm surprised we've gotten this far without mentioning Sidereal Essence. This is the new currency to buy hard mode 10 gear. You'll get 1 Sidereal Essence from the final boss of each heroic plus dungeon. Then you can turn in these essences for gear at the animated constellation in Dalaran. The prices just got updated, so check out my document to find out the price for your BIS items. You could grab any number of rare hard mode items like Dark Matter or the Mjolnir Runestone. Because this currency is guaranteed from the final boss in every dungeon, running world tours is back in style. I highly recommend finding a group with a dedicated tank and a healer to get all 13 essences per day. And of course, with a dedicated group, you'll be able to add in skips and fast travel to save time. And speaking of saving time, if you want to get the most out of Titan Rune Dungeons, you should definitely check out my in-depth Sidereal Essence guide. Check that video out next.